Hey everybody, welcome to Chris Creates the World. In this week's video, I'm going to tell you everything that I took to Europe when I went backpacking over there this summer, and everything that I didn't need and what I sent home, stuff that was very case specific that maybe is useful, maybe is not, and show you why I lugged around 2 whole huge backpacks all summer long. So you decided to buy Interrail and go on a European odyssey this summer. Honestly, best decision I ever made. Super fun. Got to see a bunch of different things. I could talk about it forever and ever. I made a video ranking all the countries that I was able to go to. I'll put that up here at the end for you to watch. So I made it to about 9 countries or so. Started in France, Luxembourg, Belgium, Germany, Hungary, Slovakia, Sweden, Denmark, and the UK. Now when I say backpacking, everything was packed into a 65-liter backpack, but I didn't necessarily do a ton of backpacking per se. I did do some hikes here and there, but it was mostly just trains and going city to city. So if you're looking for like hiking backpacking tips through Europe, might have a few insights for you, but overall it's kind of just more so packing generally hostel to hostel. Before we begin here, I just want to let you know everything that you see here I will link to on Amazon in the description below, so you can go check it on out there and grab it for yourself if you so desire. So let's get into it, huh? If you follow me on Instagram or have seen my YouTube videos before, you probably saw some footage of me this summer with the huge backpack on, wandering around, and so that is an Osprey 65-liter backpacking backpack. I believe I got it from Osprey.com. It might have been REI. I'm not quite sure. I think I found it on Amazon the other day though. So I love that. It was a great size. It's not too massively huge where you just see like whole coffins that are on people's backs, but at the same time, I did pack it to the brim. It was kind of that perfect balance for me. 65 is right in that sweet area. So in that backpack, I was able to pack all the kind of essential stuff I needed to live. So I had clothes and stuff like that in there. And so packing clothes, I do things a little bit differently. So I like to paddleboard as well, and so that was something that it was on the priority list for me. And so I have some dry bags laying around, and I use those to pack my clothes in, and so I could use them if I ever went paddleboarding. And it was really nice. I had 2 of them. Well, at the end of the trip I had 2. Technically I had 3. One was a 10-liter Billabong dry bag, and that one I used for clothes and whatnot, and I put stuff in there, rolled up the t-shirts and underwear and everything and put it in there, kind of organized that. And then for most of the trip I used kind of like a grocery bag that I had brought for my dirty clothes and put stuff in there. But then later on I went to Vakken Open Air, and there I purchased another dry bag that was a 20-liter dry bag, and I was able to use that, you know, put clean laundry in one, dirty laundry in another, and it was really effective. And that's just a good packing tip in general, is to bring bags and kind of separate stuff so you can easily pull what you're looking for, rather than feeling, oh, here's a shirt, here's a shirt, here's a shirt. You can just pull out, okay, this is the clean clothes, okay, this is the dirty clothes, this is my bathroom bag or whatever. So it's really convenient to just have stuff packed like that. Definitely recommend making yourself as organized as possible. It really helps and makes the packing a lot easier too. You just have like 5 things to pack into the backpack instead of like 20 things you're trying to nook and cranny in there.
And just as a side note, I packed about 7 days worth of clothes, and that was the perfect amount for me. It's enough that you have a variety of clothing, but it's also not a huge burden in your bag. And if you need to, you can stretch it a little bit further, and you can always get more clothes there.
And so clothes-wise, that's what I had. I did have 2 hoodies. I originally only brought 1 hoodie, and then I actually left it in an Uber when I was in Dallas right before I left for Europe, and I didn't have a jacket at first for a while, and then the kind host that I had for my workaway gave me a jacket. If you saw me wearing this Tommy Hilfiger yellow thing, that's not normally something I would buy, but it was given to me for free, and it was very nice of them, and it kept me warm while I was in France and beyond. I did end up buying this hoodie when I went to the Normandy celebration, but I felt a bit awkward wearing this in Germany. I was probably overthinking it, but it was just in my head it felt weird and whatever. So I wore this a lot as well there. And those I kind of just packed in on top just for quick, easy access. I also brought a raincoat. Secret tip, absolutely the most important thing I brought. If you're gonna go to Europe, bring a raincoat. So I'm from Utah. It does snow and rain here, but mostly we're a desert, so it's pretty hot in the summer. But Europe, it didn't matter what country I was in, I swear it rained every other day. So it rained a ton while I was there, but there's also beautiful days, obviously. Bring a raincoat. An umbrella would have been a good investment. I just kind of didn't for whatever reason, but absolute must. Definitely bring a raincoat. I don't care if you're going in July or August, you need a raincoat. I also brought 2 pairs of shoes. I had my regular Vans that I was just wearing on my feet most days, and then I brought a pair of hiking boots as well that I stuffed in kind of the top. You're now starting to see why my bag was so huge and overstuffed, because I had these bags of clothes, and then the hoodies I stuffed in on top, and then my boots on top of that. I also had a blanket from the airplane that I kept, which I never really used, maybe once. I thought it was gonna be like, oh, this would be a good idea, and I didn't need it. Part of this trip, I was going to 2 festivals. So I was going to Grasspop Metal Meeting in Belgium and Wacken Open Air in Germany. And so for both of those, you camp out outside the festival and enjoy the festival during the day and night, and then you go and sleep in your tent. And so I brought a sleeping bag and a backpacking tent. Now I brought a backpacking sleeping bag, so it was pretty small and light, and I could pack it in there, and I packed in a little inflatable air mattress. So altogether, the air mattress turned out to be about this big, fairly small actually, so it was really convenient to have. I use it for camping and whatnot, and then the sleeping bag was convenient for those festivals. But for the most part, I was just going around hostel to hostel, and everything had a bed, everything had sheets. Even the one hiking hut I stayed in, they offered blankets and stuff as well, so I never actually even needed the sleeping bag. So maybe do some research into the hiking huts you're planning to stay in if you're hiking, but overall, I did not need the sleeping bag, and I only ever used the tent for the festivals. Now if you're going to Sweden and your goal is to camp, obviously you might want to bring a tent. Maybe buy one over there and budget for that, because like just bringing it in the backpack, like it's so much space in the backpack. So if you can get away without a tent, absolutely do. And if you're looking to go to the festivals, most of them offer one that you can get a tent at. So this year I had a tent at Grasspop, and then we rented one at Wacken. It was so nice not having to set it up or take it down, and I didn't have to lug a huge freaking tent around with me. I mean, it's small for a tent size, but like in terms of backpacking, like that's a lot of real estate in that bag. It opened up a lot for me. Dude, if you're going to the festivals, just try and rent one, or you can even buy like small pop-up ones there once you get to Europe. If you budget for that, dude, honestly, I would say it's worth it. I've gone twice taking tents over, and then one renting a tent, and I don't ever want to bring a tent over again. I also brought a water filter with me because I'm used to backpacking here in Utah. I was thinking, oh, if I go hiking stuff, this might come in handy. I didn't go hiking that much. At most of the hiking huts, they have water and whatnot available there, so I don't really think you need it, but again, I will do some more research. I'm not an expert on the hiking and hiking huts in Europe. So back to the toiletry bag. I started out with this small little one. I wanted it to be as small as possible. I just had my toothbrush, toothpaste, and deodorant in there, and some like nail clippers and stuff. Quickly, that started to break as I put more stuff into it. I also was starting to get a bit grisly looking there, especially in France and after the festival. So I went and bought a razor, and then I didn't have like any space. It was all jammed in there, so I went and bought another bigger one, and that was super convenient to have. I was able to put everything I needed in there. Some space that I wouldn't quite skip out on is toiletries, because especially if you're going hostel to hostel, you might want to get your own bottle of shampoo, like one of the small travel ones. And so I just started to acquire a few little more things, but when it's that small of a toiletry bag, it takes up a lot more space. And so if you just get one that's like, you know, kind of this big, I think it'll work great for everything you need. Another thing that I took that was kind of wasting space was a towel. And now I'm not saying don't bring a towel, because it's very useful, especially in all the hostels. You will need a towel or you'll have to rent one. But I had kind of this big bulky shower beach towel that I bought at the festival, which was kind of my own thing. But if you can get a microfiber travel towel, I saw some people with those and they looked really convenient. And then I saw one when I went to Wacken, and I had to buy it because it was going to be so nice and useful in the future. So if you see this video here, it's actually bigger than the beach towel that I had, and it packs down a lot smaller as well. So it was a lot easier to fit in. I didn't have to like bundle it to the side of my bag, and I didn't have to make it look like I was rolling up a bedroll or something throwing it on the back. Now in my big bag, I also had a small emergency kit that I threw in there. Emergency, it was more like a minimal first aid kit in case anything small kind of happened. I'd have some band-aids and whatnot to throw on myself, have a little whistle if I got lost. Also, bring a headlamp. You never know when you might be in the dark and need something, especially if you're actually doing some stuff in the mountains. I have a video about that if you saw my hiking in Bavaria video. I'll link that up in here at the end. That's probably one of my favorites that I made. I got stuck on a mountain, kinda. Check that one out. And then I also brought, this kind of gets us into another gear, but on that bag I had a tripod that I brought, and it was so unnecessary. I never used it. It just took up space. It wasn't that heavy, but I ended up sending that and the tent home. Save yourself some time and money, and just figure out what do you really need, what are you actually going to use if you're vlogging, and what will be worth the wait, and it just wasn't worth it, so I sent it home. But with vlogging gear, that gets me into the other bag. So I had the GoPro Day Tripper, which is not the biggest bag, but it's a small, nice little day bag that you can take with you, and I would take it with me everywhere when I went outside, when I went on my day trips exploring different towns and cities and whatnot, but I also used it to pack the stuff I needed from place to place as well. So that's why in a lot of videos you saw the big backpack on my back and then the little GoPro bag on my chest. So in that, I was able to carry both my cameras, my main camera here and my GoPro, the batteries for that, and then I had my drone in the bag as well, and so that took up a lot of space. And then I would carry all the little ancillary stuff that I needed, the little handles and selfie sticks, the different ones that I had pad, tripods. I'd carry that all kind of in there on top of the drone, and then I would have my hard drive that I have all my edited footage on. So I brought my mouse and mouse pad, which some people say like, oh, you don't need it, you have a laptop, it's got the trackpad or whatever. And yeah, I didn't absolutely need it, but when I was editing as much as I was, especially in these hostels and whatnot, it was really nice to have a little bit more control and familiarity. It helped me edit faster. So for me, it was absolutely worth the space. So that was super convenient. The bag was pretty heavy by the time I was done. It actually turned out that the smaller day tripper bag was more heavy than the big one because the big one was mostly loaded with clothes and sleeping bags and stuff like that. Whereas my day tripper bag had my water bottle on it on the sides and then my drone, camera gear, all that stuff, and it just got to be super heavy. I also had some other little stuff just packed into the sides there that I might need, some pens and pencils. That's where I keep like my concert earplugs, my headphones that I had. I was on train so often I brought headphones, and it's nice to have when you're editing videos in hostels just so you can kind of keep to yourself. Also, as an American, I took my water bottle everywhere because we're in love with these things, right? These big metal, actually let's go. This thing, hydro flask. You can see it is beaten to hell, man. Taking a beating. Part of that's from school, part of that's because the day tripper bag started to kind of get a hole in it and it kept falling. So that was fun. Make a loud crash and everyone go, and looking back, sorry, my fault.
Sorry, my fault, sorry.
What I was getting at is water's not necessarily super readily available, so always fill it up whenever you can before you leave your hotel. You'll probably have to do so in a sink, a bathroom sink. I did that quite often. In Europe, pretty much everything is drinkable. It's not really too big of an issue there. There was a few places that had drinking fountains. There was a place in Paris that had one, like right outside Saint-Chapelle, kind of in that area where Notre Dame is, that little island. And then there was one at the base of Neuschwanstein before you go hiking up. There can be some found on occasion, but they're not like the US public drinking fountains. So if you want your water, you might have to do a little bit of work and get creative. Something interesting, I actually threw some spray sunscreen on the outside of my backpacking backpack before I left just to see if it could go over. It made it through. It didn't get taken. Somehow in the checked luggage it didn't fall out or anything, and I got it, so that was cool. Also, I did take 2 padlocks, a bigger, thicker, kind of regular padlock you see with like the dial on it, and then a smaller kind of luggage padlock. And that was just nice because some hostels are different than others. Not everything is uniform. Different locks might be better for different scenarios. So absolutely take a lock. You'll need at least one, but if you can, I would take one of each of those. That was a tip that someone gave me and really worked out, so that was really nice. So I hope you guys have found this useful and can plan your trip accordingly and either pack or take some things out that you don't need. What are some tips that you have? Write them down in the comments. Anything you've learned while traveling, any little tricks, tips, and secrets, let me know down in the comments below. And if you're looking for some more info, check that on out as well. And remember, in the description I will link to everything that I can on Amazon so you can find something for yourself. May not be the exact brand or something that I have, if Amazon has it or not, but I will try and link to everything I can down there to help you save some money and get out there and enjoy your stay. Traveling was one of the most fun things I've ever done. I absolutely loved going on my European summer odyssey to other different countries, and it's something I plan to continue doing, vlogging and bringing you more useful info on each place that I go and showing you things that either everyone needs to see or some things off the path, or just show you where you can get some good food and my take on that. So thanks for watching, guys. Remember to click subscribe and come hang out with me for more videos we got coming up. I've got some fun news coming up, and I think you guys are really gonna enjoy the content that is likely ahead on the channel. But absolutely recommend going out there and chasing your dreams. That's what this channel is all about. It's called Chris Creates the World because I'm creating the world that I want to live in, and my whole entire goal is to help you create the world that you want to live in. So if you've got that dream, that vision, something you want to accomplish, whether it's a business goal, a relationship goal, a personal goal, a fitness goal, anything like that, like you want to go and travel Europe or travel the world, it's absolutely possible. And there's a reason you have that vision in your head. Everyone has their dream and vision for a reason. So take the steps that are necessary to accomplish your goals. And if you gained one thing from this video today, I hope it's the courage to get out there and go create the world.